Hello and welcome to our ACCA revision for PM. This is section B, or part 2 of the revision. You'll get 3 scenario questions. Against each scenario, you'll be required to answer 5 objective test questions. Right? So this is quite a big scenario given, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, then another scenario, few questions, 25, then another scenario until 30. 30 times by 2, 60 marks are there. 60 marks times by 1.8. per minute, yeah? 1.8 minutes. 3 hours times by 60, 180 divided by 100, so 1.8 minutes per mark. So here is it, 15 times by, 15 questions times by 2 marks are there, 30 marks times by 1.8, 54, yeah? 30 marks we are aiming for, 54 minutes. We'll try to do it even faster. Let's go over this scenario. And it says throughput accounting, XYZ company, manufacturing, throughput accounting. What are the ideas regarding throughput accounting? It says sales minus material, you get throughput contribution. That's what you'd like to maximize. Any other costs in the organization is treated as fixed cost, yeah? And either one, more than one, is you are at a profit throughput ratio. When you do the throughput accounting, probably you're going to do it, right? So let's read the scenario, and the questions are at the bottom. Financial data, first period 2019 for XYZ, a manufacturing company, division X, division Y, division Z. Sales, opening inventory plus purchase closing inventory, and material. So material and fixed overheads are not part of the throughput. We assume these are fixed costs. Hours given 555. Period 2. For the second period, the factory cost per hour was given. If you get the factory return, you can calculate throughput ratio. Materials and capacity remain the same as period 1. Period 3, division Z's throughput accounting ratio is less than 1. That means division Z, you have more expenses compared to the profit or return. Period 4, XYZ company is thinking of purchasing Zco. Zco makes 2 products, Z1, Z2. Its machines can only work on 1 product at a time. The 2 products are worked on by 2 different grades of labor, skilled and unskilled. For Z1, you need 12 minutes, skilled, and 16 for Z2, and unskilled 20 for Z1, 15 that way. Other one. In period 4, there is a shortage of skilled labor. Skilled labor is the shortage. And Zco, and the maximum time available is 480 minutes. So would like to produce the product gives us higher contribution per unit of limiting factor, right? Other information is given: sales, material, labor, variable, fixed overhead, profit per unit. So because we are doing throughput accounting, the higher the throughput per contribution per unit of limiting factor. So a few questions are there, starting with question number 1. What is the task number? What is the factory cost per hour for division X period 1? Oh, this is a big question. So you go to division X of period 1. This is my period 1. This is my division X. And what is the requirement again for 2 marks? Cost per hour. Your cost is direct labor and fixed overhead. That's your total cost divided by number of hours. Factory cost. Yeah, only material cost is part of variable cost, rest is factory cost. So factory costs are these two. Can we add these two? 18 plus 15 gives you 18 plus 15 gives you 33,000. I'd like to do, 33,000. This two gives you 33,000, and asked for per hour divided by 5,000. 6.6, and we do have that. That's our first one now. Next one. What is the throughput accounting ratio? TPAR. Remember the formula? Yeah? Return per factory hour divided by cost per factory hour. Return divided by per hour divided by cost per hour or per factory hour. Right? More than one would expect higher return compared to the cost, wouldn't he? So that is the formula you're going to apply division Y period 2. In the period 2, that's your period 2, already factory cost per hour given, the bottom one given. We just need the return. Yeah. And how do you calculate the return? Throughput return is sales minus material cost. Sales minus your direct material purchases. Yeah. So can you do that on calculator? 63,000 minus 18,750, 44,250 is my throughput. 44,250. And what is the return per hour? So 5,000 hours divided by 5,000. Divided by 5,000. 8.85 is your return. 8.85. Your return is less. 8.85, remember. So it should be less than 1. 9.5. The performance is not that good. 0.93. Yep. 2 decimal places will take. 0.93. So 0.93. That's my throughput accounting ratio. Number 18, which two of the following statements are true for period 3? Can you see period 3? What is that period 3? Throughput is less than 1. That means more cost, less profit, isn't it? Similar like Y. Division Z costs are greater. That's correct. They ask for 2. Stricter cost control would help to improve, wouldn't it? They would. So I'm not going even bottom. These two are a straight correct answer. Decreasing division selling price would improve? No, of course not. Increasing inventory would improve? No. So these two are my answer. Number 19. What is the throughput maximizing output? Contribution point of limiting factor, basically. Z-co in period 4. Z-co has two products, Z1 and Z2. And you have some limited resources of, there we go, skilled labor for 80 minutes are there, and straightway it is said it is short. So for Z1, the throughput contribution is sales less material cost, which is 40, I can see, and 65 minus 15 looks like 50. Yeah, 50. 65 minus 15. Trust your calculator, I can tell you. 50. Right. Generate contribution Z2 giving you higher, but your skill hours are shortage. How much skill hour needed? 12 minutes for Z1, 16 minutes for Z2. So can you feel it? Z2 is taking more of your skilled hour. So probably contribution principal limiting factor Z1 gonna give you higher. How do you do that? 40 divided by 12 and 50 divided by 16. So can you do 50 divided by 16? So 3.12. Contribution per unit of limiting factor 3.125. That's right, all of it. And taking the calculator. So if if we do this, 40 divided by 12, 3.34 or 3.33. Anyway, this is give you a higher contribution point of limiting factor. So you're going to produce as much as possible of Z1 and all of his Z1. What is the, Z1. We have the demand 40, so we'll produce all of it and none to Z2. Number 20. Which of the following statements about throughput accounting is true? Throughput assumes that all costs except direct material are fixed. Yeah, that's correct. And this is only one option given, so that is correct straight away. We shouldn't waste time, but we can read it. Business using throughput accounting should avoid JIT system. No, it shouldn't. You carry on with the just-in-time system. Throughput accounting values inventory at total production cost is a material cost only, isn't it? Yeah. Efficiency in throughput accounting is based on labor and machines working to full capacity. So it's basically a traditional approach of doing it, not the throughput one. We got our answer straight away. So best answer or nearest best answer. So this is first one is our best answer. Great. So these are our 5 questions for 10 marks. We are on to next bit of this for 21 to 25 questions. Frozen yogurt. FY produces and sells frozen yogurt in small tubs. Company has found that demand yogurt is weather dependent. Last summer the weather was poor and they ended up throwing lots of frozen yogurt away. So expected values could be there. I can feel it, isn't it? Using estimates about the probable weather conditions and corresponding demand levels for weekend next summer, the following pay-up tables produce the following possible contributions. Right. So if it is a good weather and number of tubs produce 10,000, although there is a 20% probability, you're gonna get a contribution. This is contribution, 10,000 contribution. If you sell 8,000 items, 2,400 contribution. 4,000, 1,200 contribution. The chances are 20%. At an average 50% chances, these are your contribution. At a poor weather, 30% chances of that there could be a loss. And these are the profits. So we can find out maximin, maximax, minimax, regret of a expected value. They calculated already for 10,000 and 8,000. Can you not do for 4,000? Of course we can do. Expected contribution we can do. Right? Let's see what is asked in the question. How many tubs should the company produce based on the maximizing the minimum contribution, which is called maximin, means maximizing the minimum contribution, and maximax means maximizing the maximum contribution. Where is you risk taker? And here is your risk averse. Maximizing the minimum contribution. Can you go to the contribution list? At 10,000, the worst outcome is 300, 200 and 1,200. This is my poor worst outcome. Out of this, which one is giving you the maximum contribution? This, so maximum is the maximizing the minimum contribution at the poor worst outcome cases, 1,200. Right? So at 4,000 units, probably the units they're asking for. At what level of units? So maximin could be one of this, maximizing the minimum contribution. And maximizing the maximum contribution, you choose the best of the best, don't you? Which is basically the top one. 3,000, 2,400 and 1,200. So out of these, which one is the highest one? 3,000, right? 3,000. 3,000 is the maximum. And maximizing the maximum contribution. 3,000. So 10,000 units if you sell it. So I would choose this as my answer. Right? Maximin 4,000, Maximax 10,000. 22. If FY, the company, applies the Maximin rule, what is kind of decision making? Yep, I gave you the hint. Risk averse. They'd like to take less risk. No risk. 23. What is the expected contribution at 4,000 tubs? Producer, how many tubs should the company produce? Expected value of decision rule. So let's do this one first. Expected contribution. They done expected contribution for 8,000 and 10,000. Left the 4,000 for us to do. So which we'll be doing in a minute. And what is the other one? Tubs to be produced using expected values. Whichever gives you the highest contribution, expected contribution, that's what you're gonna produce it. So far, from 10,000 we're gonna get 1,400, and 8,000 we're gonna 1,700. So of course we're gonna produce 1,700 one, which is 8,001. So answer here could be one of this, and for expected contribution 4,000 units. Let's do it. Let me erase this bit. Right. So production 20%, 50%, and 30%, isn't it? Can you do a calculator? 20% of 1,200 gives you 240, and 50% 600. Little mental maths is all right. And 1,200 times by 0.3, 360. So 360 plus 600 plus 240. 1,200 is my expected contribution. Yeah, let's multiply these with that to get the expected contribution. 1,200. Do you have some figure? Oh yes, here about this one and this one, isn't it? Yeah. So it is giving you 1,200 at 4,000 contribution, 1,400 something, and 1,700. So of course I'd like to produce this 8,000, isn't it, to maximize my contribution. Number 24, what is the expected value of contribution? Remember, expected value of contribution with perfect information is not asking for VOP, value of perfect information, rather asking what is the expected value of contribution with perfect information. If you had the perfect information, I'd like to produce the best out of the best, isn't it? So at this weather condition, what is my best outcome? 3,000. And here about, what is my best outcome? 2,400. And here about, what is my best outcome? 1,200. So this is my production plan. 3,000, if you do 20%, it has a probability of 20%, and this has a probability of 50%, and this has a probability of 30%. Yeah. So taking my calculator, 3,000 times by 0.2 gives you 600. 600 is the expected contribution, and this one is 1,200. I can see it and do it, and we've done it before here, but I'm doing that one as well. 1,200 times by 0.3, isn't it? 360, right? 360. Add up together. That's your expected contribution. Plus 1,200 plus 600. 2160 should. Do we have that, or do we need to put it? 60, we need to put in it. 60. Expected value of contribution. If we have the perfect information, we will be producing at that level. Our expected contribution will be this. Now, a couple of true-false items. Perfect information is guaranteed to predict the future with 100%, with almost with 100%. That's, to be honest, is correct. It's true. Yeah, that's what the perfect information, and that's what we pay extra money for this value for perfect information. The perfect information means that the correct decision would always be made, not always be correct. Yeah, it could be different. Hence, it's not useful for the calculation. It is very useful for calculation. So this is a false answer. Right? Well done. So that's your other 5 questions. You can save a lot of time here if you are well prepared, are you not? Right. So on to our next scenario. Is very small scenario, and I can see a learning curve question is here, right? So you need a scientific calculator, which the root of a log, yeah, although I can see log value is given for you, so life is easy. Right, the following scenario relates to question 26 to 30. AlphaCo uses rolling budget, updating its budgets on a quarterly basis. After carrying out the last quarter's update to the cash budget, it projected a large forecast cash deficit. Okay, at the end of there could be a cash deficit. Consequently, the planned purchase of new capital equipment could be postponed. So it's a feed forward controlling you can take in advance, can you not? AlphaCo has been working on a second project, B, and had developed a product. The first batch of 20 units will take 600. You remember the formula for this one? Y equals, it will be given in the exam, ax to the power of b, where y is the cumulative average time per unit to produce your units. X is the cumulative number of units. Should have been written, it's better. A is the time for the first unit output, and B is the index, learning index, which is come on, which they worked it out for us, but it's a log L log of learning is 80%. Was that somewhere I saw 80%? Yeah, basically 0.8 divided by log 2. Now on your scientific calculator you can calculate these out, right? So, and B, yeah, we have gone through all the items, so it will be given in the exam, this formula. Now, can you read further? Produces, there will be 80% learning curve that will continue until 500 units have been produced. Batches after these level, which will each take the same amount of time as 25th batch. The batch size will always be 20 units. Now let's go on to the questions first, one by one. Requirement: what is the cumulative average time per batch for the first 25 batches? Now let's do the y equals to x to the power b, and the value of b is given, and the a is the first batch, takes 600 hours, right? And x is the 25 batches to the power minus 0.3219. Now, you know, I'm using Aldo Casio FX83 GT Plus calculator, and this is possible on the Google as well. The formula I'm applying basically 25 over minus, let's do it, 25, this is to the power minus point. I'm checking from the question, which is I got in my hand over here, which is 3219. Okay, 3219 equals to, yeah, remember this one, 0.35481. I'm taking this on my other calculator, 0.35481593106. You need to multiply with 600, don't you? Multiply with 600. Yeah, this multiply with 600 times by 600. There we go. 212889 or 89. That's that basically, 21289. Yeah. Cumulative average time per batch for the first 25 batches. Per batch is 21289. right? These are the formulas you need to remember. Even the log formulas you can do from this calculator. Yeah, log is given. Yeah, like if you want to know this one, log 2 is this is the value. Yeah, 0.8 log, this is the value. Then you divide and you get the answer. Right, number 27. After checking the calculations, AlphaCo decided that the learning curve should be revised to 90%. Okay, so they're not learning faster, they're learning slower. The cumulative average time per batch for the first 25 batches was this, recalculated as this many hours. What is the time taken for the 25th batch? So you need to compare between 24th and 25th. So you're gonna get the value for the 25th batch. Yeah, right. There is a tricky way of doing it, but we'll go through the longer way. Right. Now the cumulative average time, we need to apply 90%, and the rate is given, which is 0.1 minus 0.1520. So can we apply that one here as well? Y equals to x to the power b, which is y equals to basically 600 is the first, times by this time is 24 batches. We're going to do 24 over to the power minus 0.1520. So I'm doing that on my calculator Casio1. 24 to the power, here you go, minus 0.1520. I got is 0.616890. So I have a times by 600. If I do, I got 37013. 703,701.13. 13413. Right, that is the cumulative average time per batch for the first 24 batches. Right. If you multiply this one with 24, you're gonna get total value for the 24 batches. So can I multiply? Oh, I took it away. Oh, I did it on my calculator. Okay, the physical one times by 24 right then. It gives me 8883.21. 8883.21. 8883.21. 219 means 22 basically. And then the other one for this is for 24 batches. 25 batches is given, which is 367.85. Can I take that on my calculator and putting it down right hand side? 367.85 times by 25. I'm gonna do 9196.25. 9196.25. What is the time taken then? Minus, come on, 8883.22. 8883.22 minus 9196.25 is 313 or 312, nearest figure. And the other calculation, maybe one of those I took rounded up. Take everything on your calculator. Yeah, take whatever comes in your calculator. So our nearest answer is this one, 312.89 or 313 or 312 hours. Yeah, it should take you, it's the learning curve is, it should be taking you nearest value there to 300 somewhere, not too little, not too high, shouldn't it? That's the cheeky way. Yeah, right. Even the other one you could think the similar way, but anyway, this is our formula. Applying the formula, getting the answers. For 28, it's a theory one. 29 looks at the theory and other items are theory, but you must pay good attention in the theories. Look at this. With regards to the capital expenditure postponed, which of the following types control? It was a feed-forward control. You know in advance what to do, right? That is my answer. I don't need to go through this. We do have the explanations. Negative feedback, positive, double feedback. Yeah, right. 29. The manager of AlphaCo is aware of several problems with its information system. Okay, information system has many problems. It does. The question is, which of the following creates a cost from the inefficient, can you highlight this one, inefficient use of information? If you use your information inefficiently, it creates a cost. Which one you think is going to be there? Too much staff time is spent on input of data. This is not the use of information, it's the input of data. But yeah, it's not a good thing either. Yeah, but that's not our question being asked. Use of information. Number 2, information produced by the office is disseminated more widely than necessary. You're giving more and more information. That's the misuse of information. Could be your answer. Hold it for a minute. The same information is collected by more than, is the process of collection, not the use. So this is not our answer. A large amount of time is spent correcting. It's being asked for using, not the correcting. So number 2 is our best answer. And finally, 30. Which of the following statement is true? Number 1, if there is a learning curve 70%, the learning index is log 0.7/2. Yeah, that's correct. We just done similar like this here. That is correct. Number 1 is correct. So 1, 2, this could be correct. Number 2, can you read it? 80% learning curve means labor are learning more quickly than 90%. And that is also correct. Yeah, if you used to take 100 hours before, 90% learning curve means you're taking 90 hours now. 80% learning curve means you're taking 80 hours now. Yeah, more quickly, then it is correct. Number 3, learning curve phenomenon is always present. This is one of the limitations of learning curve. So this is not 1 and 2 is our answer. And you see, we just got 30 marks in approximately 30 minutes, whereas 54 minutes were allocated. And those minutes you're gonna use for your part C. And in the next video, we will be doing part C. Till then, goodbye.